Hey guys, welcome to episode 2 of the M3D Life podcast. We have just been out at Saunton Sands the last couple of days filming, well, quite a lot of content for you guys. We have 2 brand new series coming to my YouTube channel, so make sure you check them out. The first series is a breaking par series where I go out and try and break par around the 2 beautiful golf courses, links golf courses here, both in the top 100 in the UK. I'm a 1 handicap golfer, never broken par before. To some of you guys, you might be saying 1 handicap golfer, surely you must break par all the time. That's not really the case. 1 handicap golfers aren't going out there and shooting 1 over par every single round or breaking par. I've shot level par a couple times through 18. I've shot under par through 9 holes, but never broken par through 18 holes. So make sure you do check out those episodes. The other series we've just filmed an episode of is a highly debated topic in golf that you might have even had with your friends. And that is, if you were to start on the greens at Augusta National, drop a ball down the furthest possible point from the pin, and you start there on a par 4 versus the rest of the field in the Masters, could you win the Masters from that position? Well, that is basically the concept we are taking into this new series. Can I break the course record starting from 100 yards and in? So make sure you guys check that out to see if I broke the course record, which was 64 out on the West course at Saunton Sands yesterday. But with it being Masters Week just around the corner, we are going to dive straight in and talk about why the Masters is the best tournament of the year, because I have some thoughts on this, and they're thoughts that I kind of wish other tournaments would take from the Masters too. My first thought, the Masters is at the same venue every single year. It is the only major championship that does that. Therefore, we get to know Augusta National so well. We get to know the drama of it. We get to know each hole, each tee shot, each green, what each putt does, even watching on TV. The second thing is the golf course is set up for drama. There's risk-reward holes everywhere. There's difficult shots, but difficult shots that can be rewarded if you step up and hit the right shot. As for last year, look at what happened on the 11th hole with Lucas Oberg. He was tied with Scotty Scheffler, coming down the final few holes, the back 9 of the Masters, and hits one just short left into the water. Now, if he hits that middle of the green or even hits a really good shot in there, makes birdie, all of a sudden, unbelievable finish. But it has that risk reward element where if you miss in the wrong place, it's really going to punish you. Should more major championships be at one golf course every year? I kind of would. I know this will never happen. It's sad it will never happen, but I would love it if they had more majors at just one course. Like if the Open Championship was at St Andrews at the old course every single year, that would be incredible. Would that maybe elevate the tournament? A lot of people over this side in the UK would say the Open Championship is the best tournament of the year. I personally can see kind of both sides of it. I'd probably say the Masters just about edges it, but most UK players some of them would rather win the Open than win at Augusta. But I do think if the Open was played at one venue, St Andrews or wherever it is, Birkdale or anywhere really, Royal St George's, if it was played at one venue, I do believe it would be a better tournament. And maybe the tournament that they could do this with would be the PGA Championship, because I think everyone can agree this is the lowest ranked amongst the majors. It's the major we least look forward to. Some people might even look forward to the Players' Championship more than the PGA. But if the PGA Championship was at, I don't know, some unbelievable venue every single year, would it be a better tournament? Let us know in the comments below. Let us know what your thoughts are. But diving into the Masters 2025, who do we think is going to do well? Who do we think is going to win? It's going to be a really interesting year. Scotty Scheffler had some time off because he cut his hand. He's back, playing okay, but not amazing for him, kind of top 20s, which, you know, is great for most players, but not the best for Scotty. Rory Mcilroy playing incredibly well. Will Rory win finally at Augusta? It certainly seems like he's playing really well. I just think there's so much pressure for him at that tournament. There's more pressure for him there than any other week of the year by far, because of what's happened in the past, and he will have that scar tissue. He will have those memories of even when he had that crazy few shots lead going into the back nine, hooking that shot on 10, you know, 3 or 4 putting, etc. So I'd like to hear your thoughts. Who do you think will win the 2025 Masters? My bets, I think Lucas Oberg is a really good shout. I do think Scotty will be up there. I think I'd love to see, I mean, how amazing would it be to see Rory coming down with Bryson DeChambeau, maybe a little recap of last year's US Open. I think that got really heated with the Liv PGA battle there. Bryson representing Liv, Rory representing the PGA. Both have been fairly outspoken in defending their own individual leagues. Bryson's gone to another level with all his YouTube content and everything there. That would be my pick. If I could see a playoff happening, a Rory McIlroy, Bryson DeChambeau playoff at the Masters, imagine how good that would be for golf.
So, from your point of view, what is the hardest part of golf?
That's such a good question, because I think it's different for everyone. Like, for example, normally I'm a very good driver of the golf ball. I would normally say driving the ball is one of my strengths. Also iron play, but I find chipping and pitching really, really difficult. However, today when we went out, no spoilers, but it was not my best driving performance, and I was really struggling to get control of my driver, missing it left, right. So it so varies day to day, and it almost feels like when you feel comfortable in one area of the game, whether it's driving, iron play, whatever, another area starts to slip. For example, my wedge play, normally by far the weakest part of my game. 100 yards and in, I would normally rather have like a 130, 40 yard, even 50 yard shot rather than anything less than 100 yards, rather than a 60 yard shot. That's definitely what I struggle with most. I would love to know what you guys struggle with most, so do leave a comment below. I think I've seen a lot of golfers really struggle with putting, driving. I do think it varies for everyone. I mean, you could say that driving, in theory, should be the hardest part because it is the fastest your club head is moving through the ball. So it is the most difficult part of the game to control. Also, when you are driving the ball well, you are ineffectively limiting how high you can score. You're bringing your score down because you're playing from the fairway. Whereas if you're driving the ball badly, you know, there's no limit to how high your numbers could be if you just cannot get the ball in play off the tee. So let us know in the comments down below, what do you think is the hardest part of golf?
Right, this is a great question. What's the best handicap to have?
What is the best? I had this debate. Yeah, what is the best handicap to have? I had this debate with some friends recently because I do think there is a peak handicap you can have where enjoyment of the game sort of peaks. Because I think as you get lower into the handicaps, like for example, I used to think that if I got to a scratch golfer, which, okay, my handicap's 1, I'm not quite there. But I used to think if I could get my handicap that low, I would go out and love it every single time I played the game, because I would be playing at such a level where you're making more pars than anything else. You're making the occasional birdie, you're not making that many bogeys and even fewer doubles. But I think what happens is as your handicap gets lower, your expectations start to rise. Your seriousness you're taking it starts to increase as well, and that can dip your enjoyment right down. So I would probably say, at the same time, you don't want your handicap to be too high, right? You don't want, you know, if you're 20 something handicap and you're hacking the ball around, you can't strike it, get the ball in the air, that also takes enjoyment right down. So I think it would be somewhere around the high single figures to low teens, because you're probably not taking the game that seriously, where every time you go out you have these crazy high expectations, but you will have the occasional day where you do play really well and you do shoot significantly under your handicap. And you can also kind of play then with any handicap. You can play with higher handicaps, lower handicaps, play in scrambles, and still enjoy every part of the game. Okay, so would you rather take £1 million now or play 72 holes against prime 2000 Tiger Woods? So basically you can take £1 million in your pocket now or play 72 holes against prime Tiger Woods, and if you win one hole, you get 100 million. Now, I think that does depend a little bit on your handicap. Like for me, I would say I would go out there and play 72 holes against prime Tiger Woods, only because I've only got to beat him on one hole. So that could be birdieing a par 3, which he doesn't birdie, hopefully. He could make the occasional bogey and you make a par on a difficult par 4, or you make the occasional birdie on a par 4, par 5. Now, obviously, I think there are some people in the world who would actually pay £1 million themselves to just play 72 holes against prime Tiger Woods. I think that would be just an incredible experience in and of itself. Obviously, it would be incredibly difficult, but I would probably take playing 72 holes against prime Tiger Woods, beat him on one hole, you've got 100 million. If you make 1 million, you know, you've kind of, yes, that's a huge amount of money and you could do a lot of good with that for your family and everything, but you've still got to work, to be fair. That's not really enough to support yourself on for the rest of your life. So yeah, I'm going 72 holes, prime Tiger Woods, backing myself to just make a long putt, something, chip in, something happen. I mean, you would be incredibly nervous though. That's the other factor, is you're probably not going to play your best golf. You would be very nervous. So I think I would still take the 72 holes, prime Tiger Woods, for 100 mil.
Also, what does Tiger get out of it? Why is he signing up for this?
What does Tiger get out of it? He gets my pleasure in my company for
does he want that?
for 4 days. What does Tiger Woods get out of it? Maybe just beating you so badly. But this is my big issue with golf, right? Is there's not a direct comparison between average golfers and pros. So I think, like, imagine Trent Ryan from the 4Play podcast. He's about a 16 handicap. Imagine sending him out there to play 4 rounds of golf, or even 1 round of golf, with Tiger Woods on the same tees, same golf course, same conditions, right? That would be unbelievable viewing, even just to see the disparity between someone who's an average golfer like Trent or, you know, the best golfer in the world. That would be unbelievable viewing, in my opinion, just to see the difference in quality.
I don't think you win from 72 holes against prime Tiger.
No?
Not off the back tees where he's playing.
You don't think I win one hole? Do you not? One hole?
Not prime Tiger.
Yeah, but he
was beating people by so many shots.
Yes, he was.
He wasn't making bogeys. So
no,
you have to birdie.
There is a stat where Tiger Woods, I believe, still holds the record for 120-something holes, or it's over 100 holes, without making a bogey, which is pretty ridiculous.
Well, and that's the guy you're playing. You're playing that prime.
Yeah,
so you have to birdie a par 4 that's 490 yards.
Yeah, that's the other factor.
That's the hard bit.
That is the hard bit. What golf course are you playing on? Are you playing, like, to be fair, we've just been out of Saunton Sands East. Not the longest golf course in the world. Difficult, because it's quite narrow. Yeah. But are you playing somewhere like that?
Yeah, you've got more of a chance here.
You probably do have more of a chance.
One of the TPCs or something when it's 7,000 or 8,000 yards.
Yeah, because, like, Tiger couldn't hit driver everywhere here. Like, there would be no point. It's that narrow that, like, if he did, he'd get a bad bounce into a bunker, and then you'd actually have an advantage. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I do think you probably have a better chance here than at, like, a proper 7,500 yard proper stadium course. Yeah, no, that is a fair point.
Let's set it up.
Let's set it up, Tiger. If you're interested, you have my number. You know who to call. Let us know your comments down below. Would you play against Prime Tiger Woods? We would love to hear your thoughts on all of these topics. And thank you guys so much for listening, for watching. I promise I'm going to work my hardest. Richard is going to work his hardest, sitting lazily behind the camera, pretending he's doing something.
Yeah.
No, he is actually working incredibly hard, lugging this big heavy camera around with us. But it really helps us, guys, if you hit that like button, if you hit that follow button, if you leave us comments, if you interact with us, and we will continue making these. And we'd love to hear your thoughts. What would you like to hear us discussing? What content would you like to see us filming out on the golf course? What do you think would be an interesting video? And we will take it on board and we will try and get that done for you. So if you can do that, guys, we would really, really, really appreciate it. Thank you guys for listening. We will see you in episode 3 of the Mike's 3D Live podcast.